It's highly likely that you've never heard of this secretive unit, and it's fair to say that most of the secret units within the US Defense Department haven't heard of this secret unit. They've gone by different names over the past year, but their most common ones have been Task Force Orange, Gray Fox, or the First Capabilities Integration Group. They all boil down to the same thing. They're referring to the Intelligence Support Activity. Their history is brief, but their work has been of great importance to some of the most dangerous missions conducted by the Special Forces of the US. Let's dive into it. Welcome to the Spy Network. The ISA, or Intelligence Support Activity, is a highly secretive unit. Its mission, unlike many other US military special operations organizations, is to support other military operations through hidden and clandestine activities. They do not engage in direct combat. Everything they do is covert and out of the enemy's sights. However, they have a unit dedicated to direct action, but it is seldomly needed. As you can imagine, if you were working behind enemy lines, it would be really nice to know how to neutralize threats. Their mission is broad, and they frequently assist JSOC and SOCOM units. Originally, the ISA served as the National Security Agency's tactical arm. The ISA now concentrates on preparing the battle space for global military operations. JSOC Special Mission Units mostly use them as enablers. Imagine being the enablers for the Special Forces. That's a big deal. Delta Force, as well as DevGru, or SEAL Team 6 as it's better known, are the counterparts of the ISA. In terms of specialized work, they fall in the same regime. The only difference is that although they're highly trained, the enemy is not supposed to see, hear, or even sense the ISA operatives. Their work is more based on espionage and gathering intelligence. Delta Force and DevGru kick down doors and either take enemies in captivity or shoot to take them down. The Intelligence Support Activity operatives conduct their operations during and in advance of US military operations. Human intelligence and signals intelligence are the most common products of their operations. The ISA's human intelligence collectors gather information from human sources via coercion and interrogation, depending on the asset. Additionally, ISA gathers signals intelligence primarily by intercepting enemy communications or sending an agent to physically bug a target. There are also teams within the ISA who can conduct direct action missions should the need arise, but they aim to avoid it as much as possible. The need for an operational entity like the ISA was already being examined well before they were getting information. The Department of Defense outlined their needs to be more involved with collecting intelligence in 1965. The US military wanted a unit that conducted intelligence operations without the direct need for the US intelligence agencies. Originally called the Field Operations Group, or FOG, the group was created to meet the Army's requirement for undercover information collection following the fall of Nicaraguan dictator Anastasio Somoza in 1979. The necessity for a separate Special Operations Intelligence team became clear. The US desired a clandestine study of the situation on the ground as well as a survey of the US Embassy. FOG members penetrated Nicaragua using forged passports. They photographed the embassy from every angle, noted the types of locks on all doors, inside and out, counted the numbers of windows and exits, and drew a layout of the structure. The United States realized the use of this unit and began surveying embassies all over the world. Organization. The soldiers that work in the ISA are part of the Army Special Roster. This means that they do not really exist. For obvious reasons, a unit with this level of secrecy is not really keen on spilling the beans. The ISA works with different specializations. They have a human intelligence squadron, which specializes in working with gathering intel through interrogation, espionage, and other covert means. This squadron is also referred to as the ground squadron, which might have something to do with boots on the ground. From what is known, the groups within this squadron were referred to as Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, and Delta, or A, B, C, and D. It's worth noting that the Bravo unit, who conduct missions in hard-to-infiltrate countries, was never compromised during their espionage efforts against Assad in Syria. The Signals Intelligence Squadron This squadron is responsible for ISA signals intelligence missions. These operatives were responsible for helping take down insurgent networks in Iraq. Operatives infiltrated internet cafes in Baghdad and conducted flyover operations in aircraft filled with signal interception gear from 5 miles away and 4,575 meters above ground. Operatives could target insurgents' communications via cell phone. On the ground, these operatives can use a directional antenna program to pick up a specific cell phone signal, even if it was turned off, providing Delta Force with a target building to raid. Much more than this is unknown. Mission Support Squadron. It is known that the squadron exists, but nothing more than that is public knowledge. It's assumed they provide everything, so that the operatives in the other squadrons are capable of doing their work. Selection of operatives for this unit is mostly done from the Green Berets, due to their exposure to special operations. It is said that the most nerdiest operators are chosen, as they will not stand out in a crowd and get their cover blown easily. Someone who looks normal and can blend in easily. Also, someone who has a higher than normal IQ and speaks in multiple languages is a potential candidate for this unit. It might not come as a surprise that not much more is known. Known ISA operations. Although not much is known about this unit, there are some notable operations which had ISA written all over it. Operation Winter Harvest. In the 1980s, the Red Brigades was an extremist party plaguing both sides of the political spectrum of Italy. They kidnapped US Brigadier General James Dozier. Dozier was taken hostage and mistreated, with the Red Brigades viewing him as an ideological foe that needed to be made an example of. JSOC task forces took part in a search and rescue mission. Enabled by the ISA, Italian forces conducted the raid themselves, rescuing Dozier and returning him to the US without a single casualty. Not only did this demonstrate that the ISA was functionally effective, it showed that it could operate alongside not only various elements of the US military, but foreign military elements as well. Operation Red Dawn. This mission has ultimately led to the capture of Saddam Hussein in Iraq. 40 members of his family were interrogated by a special task force of Special Forces operatives, including the ISA operatives called Task Force 20 and Task Force 121, to get to know about his whereabouts. This was without luck. The ISA eventually intercepted some Iraqi forces' communication that validated earlier gathered interrogation intelligence, which led the task forces to a small barn in rural Iraq. When the raid was over, no one was found. It was, however, the luck of one Delta Force operator who kicked down some debris, which opened up a hole. While another operator was prepping to throw a grenade, Saddam Hussein popped out to everyone's surprise, leading to his capture and a successful operation. This was a look into the highly secretive military intelligence unit, the ISA. If you like what we're doing here, please subscribe and stay tuned for more interesting videos. Thank you for watching, and see you all next time.